New Year's Day off, so I headed out to the site to install the garage door. After framing the ICF opening with these 2x10 boards, we can mount the vertical side rails. We slide in the door panels, which sets the distance up exactly right, and then we tighten all the rail brackets up, make them parallel and plumb. Then things change a bit. Standard garage door installation has a track that goes up vertical, turns through a radius, and then goes horizontal. My height is 8 foot, and then all the other dimensions are calculated from that. This all works great if you have enough room for it. My Quonset hut had lots of headroom, so no worries there. However, due to a combination of the plumber putting the shower stack in 4 inches closer to the center of the building than he should have, and my separate decision to add a 1/2 block of length to the bathroom in the other direction, still closer toward the garage door, the one corner overlaps a little bit with the track on that side. I could actually install it would all work, but I eventually planned to build a bottle wall above that block wall, and the corner of the bottle wall would intersect with the track on the one side. So I needed to come up with an alternative way to install it. I talked to several garage door installers. 2 even came out to give me a quote, but they all said that it couldn't be done and that I should buy barn doors. Barn doors cost a fortune, so I had to come up with a plan to modify a standard garage door kit to keep everything affordable. So my plan is to cut off a piece of the track from here, and then raise this horizontal piece of track and the spring upward, and then slide this piece that I cut off back into the middle. The total length is the same, so the garage door can still slide all the way out of the opening. The biggest catch is that the spring force that helps counter the force of gravity on the door is reducing as the door goes up, as the spring unwinds. So normally the force of gravity goes down as each door panel goes horizontal, but in my case, it moves further vertically and the spring force drops before the gravity force does. So I'll need to counter this by using a motor with additional torque. And of course, with this configuration, I can't mount a standard garage door either, so I'll need to get a side mount garage door opener. So here we are mounting those pieces we cut off the end in the middle. I needed to make up some extra brackets from scrap metal. Then we positioned the horizontal track. You can see the problem wall in that bottom right corner. We used additional nuts on the ends of the Quonset bolts to attach the perforated angle steel. Then we hung track from that. Due to the higher ceiling, the track closer to the center of the building needed longer pieces to attach it, but the concept was the same. Then it was time to mount the spring in the shaft. My kit came with an S3 torsion spring winder thing mounted in the middle. This makes it easy to tension the spring with just a DeWalt drill, which apparently has more torque than Hunter's car. I followed the well-insulated instructions carefully, but it was clear to me that things were going the wrong way. I checked them over and over again. Basically, they said to turn the nut on the winder clockwise, but after much frustration I concluded that it must be a misprint and decided to run it the other way. I wish I had taken a picture of the instructions, but I'm sticking to that story anyway. Once I switched the winder to clockwise, things all worked out, and I set up a spring force to at least lift the door easily at the start. As expected, it gets heavier as it goes up. Next, I made some final adjustments to the track so everything moves smoothly. Once that was all set, it was time to mount the garage door opener. These side mount openers cost a bit more than the regular ones, but they're also so much quieter and they have some high-end bells and whistles. Once it was all in, it looked pretty standard. Because of the additional few feet of height, I had needed to extend these cables, which meant buying yet another tool to crimp those things on the end. Basically, the door opener just turns that shaft directly, with assistance from the torsion spring. And this bit here is a tension sensor that stops the garage door if something goes wrong, if it gets jammed to the ground because of ice or something. There's the torsion spring and the S3 winder. Push the button and up it goes. And back down again. This device is a deadbolt lock that activates when the door is closed. Another cool feature is the light, which is wireless. so I could mount it anywhere. The motion sensor is here below the button. I'd made some metal brackets to attach to the side of the Quonset hut, and then I mounted it up and to the side so it's out of the way and illuminates the area under the garage door even when it's in the up position. From the outside, the new door looks like this, with a square top. They forgot to include the trim in the original shipment, but it did eventually come in. I'll mention some of the other cool features I liked about this door opener down in the doobly-doo.